Hardanger embroidery is a beautiful counted thread embroidery that's made with geometric designs and cut work and delicate filling designs. What kind of fabric can you use to do Hardanger embroidery? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. So for Hardanger embroidery, there are a few different fabric options that you can use. The first one, which is really common, is appropriately named Hardanger fabric. And if you see it in an embroidery store, it may look really similar to Aida cloth. It's 22 count, which means that there are 22 threads per inch. Hardanger fabric is usually available in white or ivory, though if you look around, you can sometimes find it in other colors, but it can be a challenge to find a specific color that you're looking for. So another great option for Hardanger is linen. Now there are different types of linen, but usually if you get linen at an embroidery store or linen that is made for embroidery, that's going to work fine. The thing that you're going to look for in linen is you want it to be an even weave, which means you want the same number of threads vertically as horizontally so that your piece will be square. If the threads are closer together or smaller in one of the directions, then your design will be stretched a bit and things won't line up exactly the same. So linen is available in a lot of different colors and it's a great option. Usually the count on linen is a little bit higher than on Hardanger, and that will mean there's more than 22 threads per inch. That means that your resulting design is going to be smaller than it would be on Hardanger. And that also means you'd need to use smaller threads to embroider with. So in Hardanger fabric, you'd use pearl cotton size 5 for the cluster blocks and the buttonhole stitch, and on linen, you would use pearl cotton size 8. Now there are other types of linen that are designed more for clothing or other types of sewing. This linen is fine for other types of embroidery, but for Hardanger, it doesn't really work. The threads are so fine that it would be so tiny and difficult to work with. So I would avoid that unless you have a lot of experience and probably a magnifier. So you can clearly see the difference in the threads between those two pieces. If you're in an embroidery store and you're looking, it might seem like Aida cloth is a good option for Hardanger. It looks quite similar to Aida cloth and it's just a smaller count so that there are fewer threads per inch. Although you can try doing Hardanger with Aida cloth, but it is going to be more difficult to work with. And one of the reasons is the way that the threads are woven. In Hardanger cloth, you can see that it's pairs of threads that go over and under each other. But in Aida cloth, the threads are all interwoven. So that means when you're cutting and trying to remove the threads, it's much more difficult to pull them out. So it is a possibility to use Aida cloth, but just be prepared, it's going to be a lot more effort. With Hardanger cloth, when you cut the threads and pull them, they just come out really smoothly, and with Aida cloth, you're really going to be wrestling and picking at it. So I would try to avoid Aida cloth if you can. So once you have your Hardanger cloth and your linen, then you're ready to get your thread and begin stitching. So for more tutorials about Hardanger embroidery, or to get the chart for this little Hardanger ornament, you can check my website, evadastudio.com.